Hello and welcome into another edition of the NBA Roundup Podcast. I'm joined again by John and Gudmund.
Yes, sir.
Yippee! So we're gonna. That's what kind of day today's gonna be.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into recapping the rest of the first round, where we left off last week, and then get into the second round predictions. It's kind of a dual episode because it's kind of a live. We're watching Game 1 of the Bucks and Celtics as well. Just starting the fourth quarter here, and the Bucks are up 8, so we'll try not to let that affect our pick too much.
Yeah,
but
we made our picks before. Okay.
Yeah. So what did you guys think about the rest of the first round? Seemed to go pretty status quo, and almost everybody just closed it out.
Yeah. Well, Philly, they had a rough time in Game 5. I guess we did the podcast just for Game 6, right?
Yeah. So
yeah. So they closed it out. Suns closed it out. Grizz closed it out. Mavs closed it out.
I was hoping for a Game 7 at least.
Yeah, it would have been
at least
nice.
One, but no, we didn't get it.
No. Yeah.
Sad.
Would have been nice to see that in the first round a little bit, but I guess with all the 1 and 8, 2 and 7, you know. It's
yeah.
Like,
well, and that's kind of how it worked out too. That the 1 through 4 is in both sides.
Yeah.
So it's all the top.
You don't
seeds,
see that
so.
very often.
And you know, as
Or
I like
maybe
to
you
say,
do.
the cream
There's
rises
always-
to the
well,
top. That's kind of what happened.
Especially between the 4 and 5, like that's probably the biggest chance. Like a 3 and 6, maybe. Like you never know, depending on how like injuries and stuff going through the season.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you could
I
see
thought
it.
the Suns were going to be in trouble a little bit with the Pelicans because, you know, Book was out, but he decided to come back in Game 6.
And then Chris Paul just had that
What
historic
a
game.
What
Oh
a
my
game.
God.
14 of 14 from the field.
Didn't miss a shot.
Perfect from the free throw line.
33 points, 1 for 1 from the 3-point line, and 4 for 4 from the free throw.
Incredible.
Ridiculous.
This guy, he's Benjamin Button. He's aging backwards.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. When you think all these guys are going on the decline, all these old fellas, Chris Paul's like, nope, not me.
That's something we've talked about too, like with all the injuries and stuff that's going on, that like when somebody goes down, you need that leader guy to really step up and take over, and he did. He like that's exactly what they needed when Booker's down. So that was good to see out of him. And
Now,
like,
he did throw up a stinker in Game 5.
Yes.
He only had 4 points.
Yeah.
But I think that was mostly him trying to facilitate a little too much instead of taking charge like he did in Game 6.
Right. I believe that was that before Game 6 when we were on last time with them too? Or was it 2-2?
Yeah, because
Or it
that
might have
series
been
was
2-2.
still.
It might have been 2-2, yeah, I don't know.
It might have been, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. It must have been before Game 5 because I've mentioned the finals when Booker came back in Game 6.
Yeah.
Figured he would be back, and he did come back.
Yeah.
So it must have been just after Game 4. But other than that, I mean, like you said, everything pretty status quo for the review of the first round here. So do you want to get into a little bit of a preview for the second round?
Yeah, we can get into our picks and kind of a preview. Did you want to go through each game by game with series, or you think we've kind of touched on it
What's that?
with the first round? You think
With the first round, well, there's only one game for most, right?
Yeah, it was really only. I think the Mavericks might have played twice, but
I mean, there was a couple things like Memphis and Minnesota where Minnesota was going home. There was a chance for them to go to Game 7. And same thing with Toronto and Philly. So there was a couple things, you know, where it could have forced Game 7, but obviously 2 of the teams closed it out. So
I have one note on Memphis. They should have lost that series to the Timberwolves.
they should have, yeah.
I'll straight up say that. They should have lost it 4-1.
Yeah.
Like, Minnesota, I just don't understand. It is youth.
Yeah.
But Towns is he's almost a veteran now in this league. And
it seemed to me like every time they got a lead, they were just settling.
they were like,
For
we won.
shots. Let's just take a couple threes, like not using the shot clock and just putting up unnecessary shots, and they came back to bite them in the ass inevitably. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of found myself, especially when it was close, I was going for the T-Wolves, I think, just because, you know, the underdog or whatever, because I didn't really have a horse in the race for that series. But I found as it went on, and every lead that Minnesota blew, it just pissed me off. So I was just like, you know what? No, you guys have to lose. I don't.
Just get it.
You don't deserve
You
to
don't.
win.
You don't deserve to win. No, not after playing. I think they had a 15-point lead, like at least 4 or 5 of those games.
They had
like,
a 10-point lead in every game.
That's the biggest thing with like
insane.
having a veteran on the team, like Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. Like they are young, and
D'Angelo Russell is a veteran now.
He's what, 26, 27?
I'd say getting up there because he was on the Lakers forever ago. Like
when Kobe,
2014.
He was there when Kobe was playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but he didn't have a great series either. But, like, that's the kind of difference between a team like Phoenix, where in a closeout game, Game 6, you're playing in New Orleans. I mean, like, he's going to control the game, and if you get up, he's going to make plays, get people open, take the right shots, whereas these young guys are just a bit careless with the ball, Yeah. And you should never give the opposing team a chance to even come back, Limit their time as much as possible. And
you got to stomp out that spark, man.
Even if you got to get a couple twos, like I feel like in this league now, everybody settles for threes and trying to. But the biggest thing is, I mean, if you got a lead and you keep scoring twos, get easy baskets, there's no way they can come back anyways.
And you got maybe one of the top post players in the league in Towns.
Yeah. Exactly.
Get him in the post, throw him the damn ball, and just get a bucket.
I feel like that whole 3-point contest where he absolutely destroyed the 3-point contest, I feel like that kind of got to his head a little bit.
Well, just going off both those points, like that's something that I noticed with the inexperience. Like their shot selection was not great. Like Cat would just come down, and it would be after Memphis went on a bit of a run. So like the crowd's really hot, and like he's just trying to drown them out. And he would come down and just jack up a three, 6 seconds into the shot clock.
Yep.
Just 5 feet back from the 3-point line, like a really deep three, and I don't know if that's the guy you want shooting it necessarily, number one on your team. I know it's, within the last 2 minutes.
And the worst thing about your center, taking those kind of shots, with no time in the shot clock, then if they get the ball and push it to their point guards, you're going down on 2-on-1 or 2-on-2 with your center trying to get back.
And you don't have your center in rebound.
I was just going to say
exactly,
that.
Exactly,
That's
so
huge.
They get the rebound, give it to the guards, and now they're running the floor. Like John Morant's one of the fastest players in the NBA.
Yeah.
But he's going to take it on Towns every single time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just
Desmond Bain in transition. I'd never really paid much attention to this guy, but in transition, he looks a lot to me almost like Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I really like what I've seen from
beefy
him.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Ja will be taking it up to center of the court, and Bain will just fade to the elbow or the three or in the corner.
Yeah.
And it's just a quick kick, man, and he's just calm, collected, let it rip.
Yeah. He was mostly shooting threes, but I've seen him drive a couple balls too. I was like, this guy can make plays, you know?
Yeah.
He's a good player, man.
So going off that, is there a team now in the first round do you think could add a piece or two now in the offseason that are close but kind of need one or two more moves to get there, and actually compete, not maybe just not around?
I'll go first on this one.
Yeah.
I'll take the Pelicans. If they can get Zion Williamson back with the development of all these rookies, Murphy, there's a couple other rookies on that team. Well, what's the Chicken Alfredo?
Chicken Alfredo.
Yeah.
No, Alvarado.
Alvarado.
Keep forgetting his real name.
And there's
They
another
got
guy.
Jackson Hayes. Is he?
Jackson Hayes,
yeah. That's a young
Jones
team.
too. Was there a fellow Jones?
Jones, yeah.
Was it that team? Yeah.
They're such a young team, and to do what they did against Phoenix, even though Booker was out, they still have a solid roster.
Absolutely.
And the Pelicans, if Zion Williamson comes back in shape, and plays a good year and signs the extension, this team is going to be great going
and that's
forward.
the thing. They don't have to give up any assets to get that key
Exactly.
player. He's there.
Yes.
If he's willing to play and he's healthy, that could be a dangerous team next year for sure. I mean, they might not be top of the West or anything, but they could be the 4th, 5th, maybe even claw up to 3rd or something.
I think they can make the playoffs.
Definitely make the playoffs.
Screw the play-in.
Yeah.
Just get to the playoffs.
Get in top 6.
Yeah.
So they don't even have to really dive into free agency or draft to really build on what they have.
No.
Which kind of goes into another team that was eliminated that you can touch on with that is Brooklyn. Ben Simmons, obviously, with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not playing. Does he stay?
Will he ever play
do
again?
Do they get sick of him? Do they move Kyrie? There's so many questions there.
We touched on this last week, and we were talking about his injury or his, state of his mental health and all that stuff. And there was a report that came out last week that they were saying his back issues were caused by mental stress.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So I don't even understand how that happens, but I mean, that's got to be concerning for Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Yes, you owe this guy $40 million a year.
Yeah, and it's not even okay, well, he's not taking shots because of his his mental state. He's concerned about taking shots, or he's hesitating and all this stuff. It's he's getting injured because of it, because of stress. Jesus, and it's only going to get worse.
I find that's definitely like a thing too, because he's not playing because he's hurt, and he's hurt because he's stressed, and he's stressed because people are grilling him for not playing.
Yeah.
So it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah,
it's a loop.
And then we get to the on-court problems.
Yes.
Where, if he misses a lot of shots, or if he's terrible from the free throw line, he's going to get grilled then too.
Exactly.
So, like, that's a whole nother kettle of fish that's going to be an issue once he starts playing. We can't even get him on the court.
Like, you need Steve Nash to leave this team because he's not coaching at all. He's just saying, KD, get out there 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Let it rip.
Yeah.
See what you can do.
That's another part of it is, like, if anybody's going to take the brunt for Brooklyn, it's probably Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
And is there somebody that they can bring in that's going to... It's probably going to have to be a yes man, unfortunately, which is kind of how they got into this mess in the first place.
Yeah.
With all the egos involved. But, I mean, I don't know if there is like I said, I can almost see a clear path for a team like the Pelicans rather than... Brooklyn just seems like they got all that talent, but just a bigger mess, too.
Yep.
Yeah, they definitely need a coach, a very player-oriented coach. You know what I mean? Somebody who can really speak in the locker room and bring everybody together and, just talk to players individually like Ben Simmons and just try and relay the fact that this outside noise doesn't matter and, you just do what you can. And there's just...
you only need him to come in and defend.
Yes, that's it. Like,
facilitate a little bit.
Take the pressure off
Get into
him.
post, kick. Play hard defense. He's a massive point guard who can guard anybody on the perimeter.
And
shut down Trae Young in the series last year.
Man, I kind of go back to the bubble year when, what was it, LA, did they blow a 3-1 lead to Denver? Because Denver did it twice. They did it to Utah, and I think they did it to LA, wasn't it?
Yeah, they beat LA.
And because Paul George had that horrendous stretch in that series
Pandemic
where
P.
Everybody was calling him Pandemic P, like you said, and he was getting grilled and like all this. I mean, like he took a lot of heat for that. And then what did he do the next year? Came back, and even when Kawhi went down, he willed them to the Eastern Conference Finals. They didn't get to the finals, but
Western,
Western Conference Finals, and he came back and he did what he needed to do, and that's what Ben Simmons has to do is just focus on basketball, man.
Todd Lue is just such a good mentor, though.
Yes, and that's the kind of coach they need,
veterans.
right? Like, somebody that's just gonna, stick to basketball, do what you can do because you're a great player, and move on. Like,
I would kind of like to see, like, is it a thing in the NBA to trade for a coach? Because I'd like to see like a Doc Rivers or somebody. Kind of come in, and I think like it's kind of crappy the way it panned out because if Philly got eliminated, they might have fired him too, and he might have been available. So he's probably going to stay now.
Yeah, and
we'll see what kind of run they make. We'll get into our preview with them and the issues they got too, but like they really do need to make a move. Brooklyn, this is in terms of coaching. Like I said, I assume Steve Nash won't be around for much longer.
So that's kind of the ad you're looking for the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think it's kind of like the Lakers. Like we said, there's moves they can make. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. And with the players they have involved, like I don't know. I really don't know what.
Yeah, they're almost not really assets.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, here let's ask this for a hypothetical. Like, if you had to move either KD or Kyrie to try to success your franchise at this point, who would it be? Like, is it more likely KD's like, okay, screw this, I'm out? Or is the franchise more likely like, okay, we can't win with Kyrie?
So if I'm the GM, I try and move Kyrie. But after this year, he doesn't hold any value to any team in the league.
And that's part of it.
Because he might just say, boy, I got to take 3 weeks off, I just need a break. And it's like, you're being paid a shit ton of money to just show up.
I thought I heard he's going to re-sign with Brooklyn.
Well, he's got an option.
Yeah.
Okay? So he can choose to use that 5th-year option to stay with the team again. And then Brooklyn has to make a choice whether they want to extend him with the Supermax or let him play on the 5th year.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I'm Brooklyn, I don't sign him to a long-term deal whatsoever.
No.
Maybe a 1-year contract.
I feel like that's the biggest thing. I feel like there's so much baggage that comes with him that you get a little bit with KD, but for the most part, he does this stuff off the court. But when he's playing, like if he's healthy, he's gonna show up, he's gonna play, and he's gonna give you everything he's got. And I mean, there's no extra with anything with KD.
I don't think there's any doubt if you're the GM, you try to keep KD in any way possible and build around him.
Yeah. Just think about this past series. Like, how brutal was it for Kevin Durant to even get a shot off versus Boston, and he still played better than Kyrie.
Yeah.
Like, you know it's bad when this guy's getting absolutely hounded, and it's like the craziest defense he's ever faced in his life, and he still plays better than the other superstar on the floor. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? So that alone is like, you know.
I know he had a rough series, but like of those three, I mean, you trust KD to be there. I mean,
Yes.
he might not had the best game sometimes. Like, this is a rough series in terms of his legacy, but he's out there playing, and that's something you can't necessarily say about the other two 100% of the time.
The thing for me is like, so Kyrie Irving in Boston, he didn't want to be in Boston.
No.
So he shut down, and he kind of pissed off his teammates, and he called off his teammates, and he done all this. And he wants to be in Brooklyn. That's where he wants to be, and this is how he's treating a franchise that he wants to be a part of. How the hell are you going to trade him to a place you don't want to be?
Right.
And I feel like
how's he going to act in?
Like this whole
You know what I
Steve
mean?
Nash thing, like just the disrespect that he had when they first came in, basically telling the media that they don't even need a coach, and saying that him or KD can be coaches. Like, I hope this series has made you realize that that's not how this works.
Yeah. You look at Golden State, and I love listening to Golden State's, like, their press conferences.
Yeah.
Because it's like football. They get in, Steph Curry. So what do you think about this Grizzlies series coming up? He says, yeah, well, we've had 4 days off, and we did a lot of preparation in case the Grizzlies were to win. Watched a lot of tape, went over the game plans and stuff. You don't hear a single thing out of Brooklyn about a game plan or about preparation. It's just, let's go out and play. Let's roll the ball out there and let them rip.
Yeah.
It's like playing outdoor basketball. You just show up, throw on your shoes, and
Street
play.
ball.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
Well,
yeah.
and again, that goes back to the whole yes man part of it. Is like that's the way they're gonna be if they're led by players first. Like that. Like that's why I think you don't necessarily put in a player coach who's gonna necessarily be like, okay, listen, I'll just kind of take a back seat and you guys do what you want, because then I don't think anything changes. Like, you need somebody who's gonna take over a bit of leadership, like that they respect. Of course.
Didn't Bill Russell do that?
He was a player coach.
He was a player coach.
Yeah.
And obviously that worked out for them. I mean, they're completely different times.
6 teams in the league.
The league,
Yeah,
the
really.
league is, I mean, that's like going in City League and doing the same thing in a beer league somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, I'll just coach us because, nobody's going to come in and coach
Well,
us
and
for us.
he was
Like,
just dominating everybody too. So it wasn't no, Bill, no. Yeah, yes, okay, whatever you want to do, big guy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just want a quick note too of a couple other West teams that can probably go to free agency, make a couple quick moves, get healthy. Denver and Utah, I think both of them are there, got pretty good pieces in place. Kind of seem like they're always in that first, second round tier, and just gotta, I don't know, bring in some shooters. Or
Utah's
something.
interesting.
Utah's gonna get interesting with
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell. Like, he seems like he might not stay potentially. So.
Now, the thing is, what I've really noticed in the Utah series is Rudy Gobert, yes, defensive player of the year, but he's always cheating to the rim. And what Dallas continued to do was get a switch on him. He'd be guarding the paint, and they just put a three-point shooter out on the, out on sideline 3. And Rudy Gobert, time after time after time after time, just couldn't get out and contest.
Yeah.
So it was like, just 3-point contest is just money.
Yeah.
And Rudy Gobert just stood underneath the basket,
Just-
just waiting for a rebound or waiting for a
And
block.
he also gives you next to nothing on the offensive end.
That's the biggest issue. If
Like-
I'm Utah, I try to move Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Try and get somebody
Because the
sensible.
worst thing about Utah is, not a lot of key players are going to be looking to move to Utah. Like, for a franchise like that, you almost got to draft your players and hope that maybe somebody like
or have a superstar in place that's really going to draw
Yeah,
in. Like,
really
I don't
attractive,
think
yeah.
Donovan Mitchell's necessarily that guy. Like, you would need a LeBron or somebody or KD or
because Donovan Mitchell, he does dominate the ball a lot and does take some bad shots. Like last year, he had a good postseason. This year, not so much. If you look at his points per game at face value, not terrible, but geez, man, he probably took like 120 shots over the course of 5-6 games. Like a lot of shots.
Also,
man.
I don't like his body language at all.
No.
Like when Bogdanovich had that 3 to tie the game or to put him up, as soon as the ball went to him, he pump fakes, and the shot's not even off. And Donovan Mitchell's at free throw line going, with his hands on his head, just assuming he's going to miss, and it's a tragedy, right?
I thought that was a terrible play, man. I know he got a wide open shot, but man, he could have came in and laid that ball up. There was nobody around, man. If he cut in, could have got a easy layup.
Were they down by 2?
They were down by 2. Yeah,
okay.
That could have been. The
winner.
He
was good, but he went sailing past them.
Yes. No, I don't know about time. No,
not even.
I would have to look at it again.
I don't even mean like after the pump fake.
Like he could have slashed.
He could have slashed and drove it and scored. Like that's what I'm talking about with this league, man. It's just 3-point after 3-point. Like you're down 2, man.
Well,
get a basket.
I knew as soon as they were down by 2, I was like, they're gonna shoot a 3 and try to win this.
Yes, and you're in the playoffs, man. You just need another opportunity.
Yeah.
You don't have to go for the big shot.
I think he did have time. Like, it was 5 seconds to set up the play. They went right over to him. He pump fake, goes past, probably a second.
Yeah.
You know, he had a good, I think, 2.5, because, he let the ball go, and, like, the time was going and going and going, and it hit, and then time was still going.
Yeah.
So I think he could have took, 3-4 steps, the
floater,
like, yeah, like something.
A more high percentage shot. If you're relying on your season to be on a 35% shot versus a 50 ball.
He hit a massive 3 like a minute before that.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe that was in his head.
That's probably why they drew the play out.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I mean, like you said, you take the available shot, and that was the available shot. Obviously,
that was a great look.
It was a great look, and you got to live with the consequences. Obviously, not making it.
Oh yeah, there's no. I mean, he's wide open.
Yeah.
After the pump fake.
That's the only thing.
You can't draw it up any better than that. It was a perfect play.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on now to the second round, and I guess you want to start in the West or the East, where we're kind of watching.
Start in the West.
Let's start in the West. Okay, so we'll do Phoenix and Dallas first. So again, this is the 1 versus 4. Phoenix will have home court. I believe they start tomorrow.
Yeah. For me in this series, the patented scoring table, the Suns win 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-1 in the stat category. And the only one that's close is blocks per game and opponents' points per game. That's it. The rest, Phoenix blows them out. So, assuming Booker's fully healthy and his hamstring's not giving him so much of an issue, I'm going to take Phoenix in 5. Maybe a bold pick, but honestly, I can't see Dallas doing it. I can't see it. I think Phoenix, this is their year. Even though I didn't pick them in my bracket. What they've shown without Booker, I thought it was super impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Phoenix as well. But I'm gonna go 6 games. I'm gonna say the same thing as the last series. I'm gonna say Dallas forces game 6. They're probably up 3-1 or something. Maybe they can force game 6, and then they'll take it at home.
Yeah, I think
on the road. Sorry,
I got the same thing actually. I got Phoenix in 6. I think it might be a little similar to the Toronto series. I think they might be going home for game 6, and you're thinking, man, Dallas wins this game. They're in a good spot. They've played pretty decent on the road so far. But yeah, I think they come up a little bit short in 6. I am factoring in Booker. I'm assuming he is unhealthy. I think if he's back, full steam ahead, I think there's a good chance it could be 5, right? Yeah. As well too. But like I said, I really like both of these teams. So I would like to see both teams kind of make a nice run here. I do have Phoenix making the finals in our pre-playoff predictions on our finals pick. So I'll stick to that for now, and I'll go Phoenix in 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think DeAndre Ayton, he's probably going to make a bigger difference in this game. He's probably not as great of a defender as Rudy Gobert, but just giving you that offensive outlet.
Yes, man.
That'll be key as well. Because if Dallas was, only won in 6 games versus them, I feel like there's no way. There's no way, man. With Chris Paul and Devin Booker and then Ayton, that 3,
and
big
then
3.
You got Mikal Bridges and the rest of Jay Crowder
come off and have a game anytime.
Yeah.
I think Dallas's only real shot is they've been really, really hot from 3, and I don't know, it's hard to keep up with for a couple series straight, but if they do happen to keep it in, I think they can make it close. I was even debating 7 games at one point in this just because of how well Dallas has been playing, and I don't know, I do feel that Phoenix definitely has a major advantage, of course. Like, it really comes down to health with them. Probably the rest, I guess we'll see with the next series if it goes out the way I think it will. But, yeah, I mean, I really do feel Dallas could make it interesting if they still keep up the, hot shooting hand. But can they keep it up for 2 rounds? It's a little bit tough to say.
Luka can take over a game.
Sure.
He can win you one or two. But
then you got Chris Paul who can win you a game, and Booker who can win you a game.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Brunson, he's been playing great.
He's been playing unbelievable.
And
can
you rely on him? Can you rely on him to? Maybe. I mean,
this is where you make your name in the NBA.
But
right?
Defense has changed, like the matchups. It really depends on the series, and can you rely on him? I don't know. You can rely on Booker. You can rely on Paul. I mean, the superstar level, it's just a mismatch. I think.
I think so too.
Well, quite simply, it might just come down to like going back to John's scoring table, like the superstar factor, 2 versus 1.
Yeah.
And then
or 3 versus 1.
Well, yeah, even if you had to rank them out, I mean, you probably put Nathan as 4.
Yeah.
Right. So I think 3 versus 1.
Yeah, that's tough.
Superstar, you can only do so much, I guess, if you're.
Yeah.
And Brunson's probably close in the 5 slot.
And Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
He's maybe 6.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Like, if you went through 10, Dallas might have 6 out of 10. But because all their secondary guys are kind of like those middling guys who can really, like, make shots.
Yeah.
But, like I said, they got to keep making shots. I'm not sure they can just keep up the pace they've been at. They've been shooting really well. Like I said, they played pretty well on the road thus far, and they'll have to if they want to win. They'll have to win at least one on.
Yeah. So Dallas, if they can get the 3-point going,
they have a chance, right?
They have a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
So I'll give them that.
All right, so we'll move on to Golden State and Memphis. Now, this one could be a slugfest too. As we said on the last series, Memphis really high scoring team. Golden State, of course, you know what they can do if they get really hot. They seem like they're hitting all cylinders now at the right time, which was a big factor in why we're picking them to go pretty far. So what do you think about these guys going into this series?
This series to me is Golden State's to lose. Even though Memphis is the higher seed and they got home field advantage or home court, classic football reference.
Yeah, we're so used to that. Huh?
Memphis is not going to get away with the crap that they got away with against the Timberwolves. Not going to happen. Not against Golden State, a seasoned team. They got experience out yin yang, maybe more than any team in the entire league. So, for me, it's Golden State in 6. Memphis got them in points per game and steals and blocks, but other than that, the big player factor, Memphis has Ja, and Ja played terrible to his standards last series. Averaged 17 points a game. Mm-hmm. He did make the big layup to win Game 5. I was impressed with that. But, there's just too many weapons on Golden State. I do feel like Memphis is going to out-rebound them like crazy, though, against that death lineup.
Steven Adams is out as well.
Oh, he's out?
COVID. So he's out for Game 1.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
So that's a big...
And that's in Memphis.
It's a big loss. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. They lose Game 1, win Game 2. Does Golden State win 3 and 4?
I do not see Golden State losing at home.
No.
Not the way that crowd gets.
You get up 3-1. I don't put my faith in Memphis's young squad to...
It's a bit of an issue to have yourself backed up against the wall like that against this team.
Yeah.
Adonis,
former.
I just want to note too that I'm looking at the schedule here now, and like normally they're going every second day here, but they go Wednesday is Philly, Miami, Dallas, and Phoenix, and then they skip Thursday altogether, and then they go back to Miami, Philly, and Phoenix, Dallas again for Friday. So meaning that the Boston Bucks series and the Memphis Golden State series between Game 2 and 3 would go from Tuesday to Saturday.
What?
That can't be right.
No, there has to be another game in
Game
there.
3 would naturally slot in Thursday because there's no game scheduled Thursday. But that's interesting to your point. If Steven Adams has gone for Game 1, possibly Game 2, there's a huge gap between Game 3 on the schedule right now. I don't know if that's just a mistake I'm seeing here on the app I'm using, but
It is interesting. We're gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, because it's saying here too on the list. May 3rd to May 7th. So yeah, it'd be a 4-game break, or 4-day break between Game 2 and Game 3. So I mean, he'd be back by Game 3 for sure.
Okay.
Just on an injury front, but yeah. So
interesting.
It's an interesting note because their game's just about to come up there next year as we're right at the end of the Bucks and Boston game. So. I got Golden State in 6 here. I think, as John said, it really comes down to I just don't think Memphis is necessarily playing their best ball, and they didn't in the first round. Golden State seems to be getting a lot better. They're gelling. Thompson's looking like himself. Poole's been playing great. Curry's getting healthy, fully healthy. He's coming off the bench there for a while in the first round. So I fully expect them to close there at home in Game 6, being the road team to start the series. So I'll have Phoenix versus Golden State in the West Finals for me. So that's a couple Game 6s now I see for them. I just feel they'll just outscore. Memphis almost has to play perfect.
Yeah,
I think they really have a chance. And kind of going back to our last series too, I don't know if Ja's really got enough around him. He'd really have to get all those other guys, Bain and Brooks and a couple of those other guys, to really step up and make plays both on offense and defense, because they certainly had to be able to stop Golden State in some way.
Yeah, I think Golden State is going to go at Ja every time they can.
Yeah.
Every time they can, have Klay Thompson on him. Klay Thompson's running around like crazy, running off picks. Ja's just not going to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
And then you got to deal with Draymond Green on the inside, and the biggest thing with them is, like you were talking about in their press conferences and stuff, they're going to evaluate Game 1 and see what's working, see what's not working, come out, and Draymond Green's going to make sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do on defense when Ja does his certain moves and he's going to slash, who should switch, who should, basically stop him before he gets into the paint. And if you force Ja to take shots on the outside, I don't see him having a great series. Now, we'll see. I mean, he's an unbelievable player, so.
But, so, what do you got, Goody? What's your pick?
Yeah, I'm going to take Golden State. I think I'm going to take them in 6 as well. I'm between 5 and 6, but I'll go Game 6.
I wanted to go 5 as well.
Yeah.
But I do think that Memphis, the rebounding differential is going to change everything, right? In a couple of games.
Yeah.
Maybe the Warriors aren't so hot from 3.
Yeah.
And they can't make you pay in transition if they're not getting rebounds.
And they get second chance opportunities.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things too. Like where Memphis has been down so much versus Minnesota, it's like what we talked about before. I feel like if Memphis gets down in this series, Golden State's going to make them pay.
Yeah.
They're not going to allow them to claw their way back.
Yeah.
They might get back within 10. But then you get a Curry 3, you get a Klay 3, you get a Jordan Poole layup. You get automatically back up to 20 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think going into that, the emotional part of it, I think you can potentially see Memphis get frustrated. I don't know if they have the mental capabilities to either keep up or, get back into it. And they're not in a spot where, maybe they have to be able to come back on a team that's this experienced. Of course, they're, of those two teams, they were both inexperienced. We said going into last series, but of course they were the two, they were the better team.
Yeah.
Now they have to overcome the inexperience, being potentially a worse team, and the other team they're playing does have the experience too. There's almost everything against them.
Yeah.
So whether or not they can overcome that as a young, growing team, tough to say.
It would be unbelievable if Memphis wins this series and goes on to the conference final.
I think you even tip your cap if it goes 7 or something. They really make series, you'd be like, okay, listen, they're right there.
Next year they're coming.
Yeah. I think all this trash talk with Memphis as well, they'll win a game. Oh, now we're going to start talking trash. Oh, we're getting blown out. Okay, well, I'll just shut my mouth now and then come back in. You're not going to get none of this with Draymond Green, buddy. He'll put you in your place.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's why I mentioned if they get frustrated, I think Draymond could just be a menace to them.
Oh, 100%.
Just really just
He's going to love that.
Give him a lot of shit if they really start going down.
Yeah, for sure. So we all got Golden State in 6.
Yep.
That's kind of the consensus here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to Philly and Miami. What's your take on this one, Shane?
Boy, I was looking forward to this series, and
Same.
now we see the Joel Embiid. injury, I guess. I mean, what was it, an orbital?
Concussion,
yeah. Like it was a elbow to the eye, or
Doc Rivers left him in the game, in a blowout, closeout game.
Right.
Left him in the game, and he got injured. Mm-hmm. Very similar to the Donovan Mitchell issue in Game 5.
So he's not going to be back until like Game 3 or 4.
I don't know. I know he's missing Game 1 for sure.
I think he could probably play through with his thumb, but he has to get through concussion protocols to even get back out on the floor.
Yeah.
So he's definitely going to miss the first 2 games, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4 he comes back. So
I'm going to say at latest Game 3.
Yeah. I'd say Game 3 is probably a good projection.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know where I would have went with my pick if he was healthy and playing. Like, he did have the thumb injury, and now this. I just feel like there's too much stacking against him. They're a little bit further. The pressure mounts again for James Harden the farther they go along here. I'll take Miami in 5, just because I think that I don't know if they can do it with just James Harden, and they might be too far gone by the time Embiid gets back, if that's the case. And even if he was there, I think it would have been a very close series if he was there and healthy. So it might be 3-0, 3-1, something like that for Miami by the time he's back. If it's tied 2-2, I could be eating my words again next time around like I was last time. But yeah, I think I'll take Miami in 5. They really impressed me how they played round 1 as well. They weren't really in any trouble. They were scoring 115 consistently.
Yeah,
man,
it seemed like they had
their defense.
Wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Man, you look at Boston. I was just watching the game, man, and like the switches, man. They are so quick with like lateral movement and stuff. As soon as you come around the screen, boom, he's right back on you. Like Jimmy Butler, he'll come off screen, get right back on you. I think they're gonna hound James Harden. Like, he's going to be in for a rough series, man, I think.
And his whole thing, too, where he was like, I don't want to take all the load here. I want to go somewhere where I'm sharing it. Now he's got to take it again. Like, I think he could just end up being, like, just savage, pissed off.
Same thing with Maxey. Yeah. Young player coming in, trying to...
Well, he got to play out of control for them to really...
Oh, my God. And, like you said, same thing with Trey. Like, Trey was saying that this defense they played against was all double teams, and he was just something he's never seen before. And, like, he's got to go in the offseason, kind of evaluate how to play against a defense like this. And, for a young guy like Tyrese Maxey, he's just, I don't know if he's going to be able to overcome that. I certainly don't think James Harden's going to be able to do it.
No.
And then with Joel Embiid being out, oh my God, there's nothing really working in Philly's favor here. So I'm going to take Miami in 5. I am.
Wow. All right. So, based on the scoring table, it's even in points per game. It's even in field goal percentage. And right now, my big player factor, it all hinges on whether Embiid is there or he's not there. If he's there, I'm giving the edge to Philly. And if he's not there, I'm giving the edge to Miami. Mm-hmm. So, Philly got the edge in defense, steals and blocks per game. But not in points per game, opponent points per game, or opponent field goal. It's actually really tight in opponent's field goal, but ultimately, right now, with Embiid out, scoring table says 3-2 for Miami. That's even without Embiid. Mm-hmm. So, my take, if Embiid misses more than one game, I got Miami in 6. I think James Harden is a bigger, beefier Trae Young. Not with the mindset. For sure not the mindset. Trae's nuts. He don't care, right?
He's also a lot slower too.
Yes, but the thing about Trae was he was the only guard on that team that can ball handle. And then you got Miami just has the guards to throw at you. Oladipo, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Butler's out there guarding the perimeter. It's a very quick and perimeter based defense. If you can get inside on him, yes. If Embiid is there, he's going to take it to Bam because Bam don't have enough bricks in his back pocket to hold him back. Right?
Yeah, he's like a lanky, tall, rather than...
he's more of a 3 or 4 than a 5, but he's playing the 5. But if Embiid only misses one game, I got Philly in 7.
Yeah?
Yeah, if he comes back in game 2, because they're supposed to lose these first 2 games. It's in Miami. Miami should win, go up 2-0. If Embiid misses 2 games, then I'm like, okay, they're in the same position that they should be in.
Right.
And they have to bring it back home, win 2 games, and then steal 1 on the road. So Mine is kind of a conditional pick. I don't know if that's fine or you want a definitive.
Unacceptable.
So, if Embiid misses more than one game, Miami in 6. If Embiid misses just one game, Philly in 7.
Yeah, I feel like right now the injuries list is like out indefinitely. To me, that means more than one. It seems that way. Because I feel like if he was going to be out one game, he'd almost be questionable for game 1. It don't seem like there's any indication that he's even close.
Yeah, like Goody said, the concussion protocol.
Concussion is the thing. It's so you don't know much about it, so maybe they're just playing it safe and being like, okay, we don't really know. So as of right now, yeah, it seems like it could be a bit longer than one game if you ask me with the wording, but and that's kind of what I'm basing mine on. Like I said, I was bouncing back and forth between 5 and 6 games, but like I said, I just feel like James Harden could absolutely combust in this series if it really comes down to, like I said, him playing on his own, which is what he didn't want to do, and then how frustrated he can be if things don't go well. And it's definitely potential, especially they're on the road for the first two. As you said, it could very easily be 2-0 Miami. Now, no need to panic at that point with them being the road team, but at some point they're going to have to win one in Miami if they want to win the series. You would think so. I mean, definitely. Like if you leave it to Game 7, Embiid, I assume, will be back at that point. So that's like I said, if he plays, it's certainly a possibility. But they would have work to do, I think, by the time he's back.
An interesting storyline too is Jimmy Butler's health, because he sat out the closeout game against Atlanta with knee swelling. Now, if you got knee swelling, that's not good for flights. If you fly, your knee's going to swell up. Then you got issues once you get to Philly. Then you go back to Miami, and it's just a constant battle with health for him. I'm hoping it's nothing, but if it is something and he ends up missing a game, this could be big. It could be big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like, well, with Lowry, too. I think Lowry was also out for Game 5. So, like, will they get all those guys back? I mean, it's unfortunate, 1 versus 4. You really start, I was saying how fun the East is going to be once you get to the second round. And now you got all these injury factors playing in. It's unfortunate that's kind of the way it's playing out. But, you want to see the best versus the best at this time of the season. And unfortunately, we're not getting it.
Yeah, it's almost like the healthiest team right now is going to get
it. Yeah, exactly. And then, as much as we don't think about it as much anymore with the COVID factor, I mean, you can certainly take a player out for a game or two. I mean, it's always going to be a factor now for the rest of the way, But I think hopefully, like I said, everybody's healthy and back. I'd like to see these two face off healthy, so hopefully it's not too long and we get a like I said, I'd love this series went 7, so hopefully it is a lot more interesting than what I have on.
So what do you have, Shane?
I had Miami in 5.
Miami in 5. You got 7. But Philly?
I got Philly in 7 if Embiid's back after one game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it was Miami in 6 if he's not?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's almost a 2 game.
Okay, so if he's out 2 games or so or more, then I think Philly we're all on the same. Yeah, we're all in the same kind of boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get on to Milwaukee and Boston. So we just watched this game. I'm not sure what the final score was, but Milwaukee ended up beating Boston in Boston. Great start to the series for Milwaukee.
Bucks won by 12.
They won by 12. So
12, yeah.
Even without Middleton, they seem like a force right now.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving couldn't even get a single game on Boston. And here you go. With Middleton out, Giannis leads them to a win.
And they made it look pretty easy. Now, I didn't see this game from start to finish, but I started watching about quarter of the way through the second quarter, so almost 3 full quarters. 3 full quarters, they were up by about 10 or more. Yeah. So they really controlled it almost the entire game, so they look great so far. Getting into, of course, we made our picks before this. I actually had Boston in 7.
Okay.
I had Milwaukee going to the finals, so Boston really, really, really impressed me in the first round enough for me to lean that way. Again, they are the home team, so they do have home court if it goes to Game 7, which I think would play into their advantage once they get there. Of course, they have now dropped the home game since I made that pick here as we're watching, but yeah, that's what I had. I just think Tatum's playing out of control. Giannis is really going to have to just be just an incredible force for them. He does still have some great shooters and players around him, but I do think that he'll have to really, really play some of his best ball that he's played in the past year and a half to really get them there in 7. So I'll take Boston in 7, having the home court advantage.
Yeah, this part of my bracket obviously got messed up with Brooklyn. I originally had Milwaukee beating Brooklyn in 7 because they would have home court. So I'm going to change the games here, but I'm still going to take Milwaukee, stick to my pick, but I'm going to take them in 6 now at home. I feel like if it goes to Game 7, it favors Boston. And like everything you said, I mean, Middleton being out, like I don't want this first game to judge anything. Obviously, they took one on the road.
Yeah.
But, I was going to pick Milwaukee anyways. But like you said, this is kind of a tough one. Like you said, with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, that defense. I feel like they're going up against a better defense now opposed to playing playing Brooklyn. Their offenses were kind of matched, but defensively, I mean, it was just a whole other story. And I feel like Milwaukee brings that element to the game as well. So, they might be able to somewhat match them on defense, but offensively, I mean, it could be a toss-up. So I'm going to take Milwaukee, stick to my pick, and, I'll go 6 games.
So for me, this was the toughest one because I'm trying to decide whether it's Boston being great or it's just the total dysfunction of Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's.
And I started to lean towards it's the dysfunction of Brooklyn. So I'm going to take Milwaukee in 7. I mean, with Middleton out, the series rests on the shoulders of Giannis. And based on my big player factor, the scoring table is 3-3 before that. And I got it even split. I got Giannis and Jaylen Brown and Tatum as a wash. I think Giannis dominates the game defensively and offensively. Giannis doesn't settle for threes. Like you said, if they get a lead, he's inside. He's working. He's going to go in and dunk on your head. And, he's not going to let you go by like Kyrie Irving or, get lost in turnovers. And Brooklyn is a team. It's not 2 guys running the offense. It's a group of guys who mesh together, and it won the title last year because of it. Just a phenomenal team. Great 3-point shooting.
Yep.
Great offense, points per game wise, field goal percentage. They got everything. Middleton does hurt, but ultimately I'm going Milwaukee in 7.
All right, so let's just do a quick recap now on our picks here. So in the West, I've got Phoenix in 6, Golden State in 6, and in the East, I got Boston in 7 and Miami in 5. So Gudmund, what did you have for your 4?
Sorry, I was just watching the game there. John Moran has all points for Memphis right now. 2 threes and a fashionable layup
coming
inside.
Out far.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. He hit 2 of his first threes. So what are we doing, East or West?
No, just recap your
just recap your 4
picks.
Okay, yeah. So like I said, Milwaukee, I got them in 6 games versus Boston. I got Miami in 5 versus Philly. Looking at Golden State and Memphis, I think I took Golden State in 6 as well, and then Phoenix over Dallas in 6. So most of my games going 6 with the exception of Miami. So
I got Phoenix in 5, Golden State in 6, Miami in 6 if Embiid misses more than 1 game. If Embiid misses 1 game, I got Philly in 7. Bit of a cheap conditional pick, but that's it. And I got Milwaukee Bucks in 7.
I love how you picked both teams too.
Yes, yeah.
You got your bases covered.
Yeah, on both sides of her. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask one more thing too before we close it out for today. What was our finals picks? I know I had a rematch from last year. I know
I had Brooklyn Golden State.
Yeah. So did you guys want to make a new?
I'm sticking with it because my
my
picks are
still
the ones that are in play are my finals picks. I got Milwaukee beating Golden State in 7.
Okay,
in
so
finals.
you're still in it.
That's why I'm keeping Milwaukee here.
I'm out of it.
Johns is gone.
I'm gone. So I guess I'm going Milwaukee and Golden State at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like it's those are all pretty realistic too. Like there's not
that
Brooklyn wasn't. They were just awful.
2 of the series that I'm dependent on now are going to be really tight. Like Golden State versus Memphis. I mean, it could go either way, for sure. And same thing with Milwaukee and Boston. Like you said, where Chris Middleton's out, anything could happen. Like you said, Milwaukee obviously won this first game in Boston, gives them a lot of leverage going forward. But Boston could come back and steal one, and could be Game 7. And if it gets to Game 7, you might want to favor Boston at home.
Flip of a coin, man.
Like you said, so there's that. Same thing with Golden State. Maybe if they steal a game here now, and you never know. But Memphis could come out swinging as well.
It was definitely tough picking Boston in the series when to see how they played today. Like I come here like with every pick going towards Boston, and they were just like I said, down by 10 the entire game, and just never really could get it going. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully. That's an interesting series. Watch them get swept now after sweeping. You see that sometimes. You sweep a team and then get swept. So
what would that do for Giannis' stock as best player in the league? Without his second best player, sweeps the team that swept Kyrie and KD.
I mean, they'd be heavy favorites.
Yes,
at that point
they would.
Yeah, it would definitely give him a lot of momentum in that conversation. I mean, he's already there, considering what he did last year and coming off championship run.
I do need to see it again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Well, the guys who are the best players in the league, I mean, like Steph Curry, LeBron James, you could talk about Kevin Durant. They all have multiple championships, and to get yourself in that conversation, you do need to kind of have that. Not prove that you can do it once, but time and time again. That's what comes with being the best player. It's not just stats.
And that's definitely the time to do it now. Like while they got that roster
back to
in
back
place,
too.
Back to back.
That's
I mean,
huge.
obviously,
LeBron's done it.
Golden
KD
State,
Steph. So.
Yep. All right. So I guess I know last time we kind of came back and the series were over right after, so we're kind of coming back with a couple quick. So we'll probably wait until the series are over, I guess, until we come back. Seems like it's probably the better way to go about it.
Now, I guess if we look at them and they're all 2-2, then I guess we can recap.
We can kind of So
but if we see it lopsided,
we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, so we'll come on back probably within a week or two and give our picks then for conference finals. But so far so good in these playoffs. Seems like it's going to get better. I mean, we're really weeding out the weaker teams now. Like I said, 1 through 4 on each side. So really starting to see the top dogs battle it out now.
I want to see a Game 7. That's all I want to see, man. I want to see one Game 7.
Right?
Jesus. Yeah. But I guess ultimately that's it for us here today.
Yep.
Yeah, not too much with these, mid-playoff podcasts we got going here. I mean, especially in the second round, there's only so much you can talk about. There's only 4 matchups here now, so
it just keeps getting less and less too.
Exactly,
like the further we'll really have to dive into each particular game and series and players and matchups going forward. So we'll definitely break it down, get into the real nitty gritty of each series now as we get down here and to see who our finals are this year. But
this is exciting time for basketball.
Yeah, I mean it's a great time of year. Like we're getting into the hockey playoffs now. Like I said, the NFL draft was just going on by. Like it's a really good time for sport.
It is, yeah.
All right. So for Shane Stanley and John Gudmund Hepso, we'll catch you next time on the NBA Roundup podcast. Peace out.
Take it easy.